Hi, you guys. It's Yaz. Tonight, I want to talk about healing yourself after being in a toxic relationship. There's a lot of people that are very broken out there. There's a lot of people dealing with a lot, not just in relationships, but in everything that's going on in the world. There's people out there that have money problems, have family problems, have relationship problems, have to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's a lot. And it's causing a lot of people to be very depressed, very lonely in dating, disgusted with dating, tired of the dating apps that are all game on there. And they're like, they need to heal themselves. Now, people talk all the time about you need to love yourself. You need to love yourself. What does that mean, to love yourself? What exactly does that mean? What does it mean to heal yourself? See, people try to talk to other people to try to help them and give them advice about, well, you need to love yourself. You need to heal yourself. But you really need to understand exactly what that means. So what I'm going to talk about is how you were in a toxic relationship. Maybe you were dealing with a narcissist. Maybe you were dealing with somebody that was very selfish, very self-absorbed, somebody who always needed self-esteem, somebody that judged you, somebody that put you down, somebody who wasn't there for you. And you were in the relationship and you didn't realize at the time that you were dealing with a toxic person. Because a lot of times we're in relationships with toxic people and we don't even realize that they're toxic. We were never educated on certain topics like this, so we're not able to recognize it. That's why I do a lot of my podcasts, to give you guys a lot of red flags to look for certain things that people do that will show you that you're dealing with a toxic person. And once you know you're dealing with a toxic person, you know not to deal with them, okay? But this podcast is about how to heal after being through that trauma. How do you get over, let's say, somebody rejecting you, somebody discarding you, somebody that you cared for that just didn't care for you? What you need to do is you got to understand who you were dealing with. That's rule number one. I get people that contact me all the time that have broken up with their partner, and they're always asking me, do you think they'll come back, or why did they leave me, and everything like that. The number one rule, you guys, is if they left you, then they were not 100% in on you. And that you don't want somebody that's halfway in. You don't want them, okay? It doesn't matter why they left you, all right? It's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on them, okay? And if you're doing all the right things to be in that relationship, okay, they could have left you for a number of different reasons. They could have left you because they never really were all in on the relationship and you thought they were, because you weren't able to recognize the signs that you were dealing with half a person. And when I mean half a person, I mean you were in a relationship where you had somebody that maybe ghosted on you now and then, somebody who didn't show you affection. These are all red flags that you're not dealing with somebody who's 100% in on the relationship. When you start to date somebody or you're in a relationship with somebody and you're getting these gut feelings, number one, you have to listen to your gut. Your gut is God telling you that something is wrong in the relationship. This is something that I never used to do years ago. When I was dealing with toxic people, I always used to come up with other ideas why they were treating me the way they were. I used to say, well, they don't know better. They never really had a father figure, or, that's just their way. And a good friend of mine used to say to me all the time, why do you make excuses for him? Why do you make excuses for him? Why do you give this man your time? okay? And I didn't realize till I was out of the relationship and time went on that I was dealing with a very toxic, narcissistic person. This was somebody that kind of, spinned their web. And the way they do that is they love bomb you. They show you a lot of attention in the beginning. Like I said, they show you a lot of attention in the beginning. And this is how they draw you in. And then you start, all of a sudden, something switches off in your brain and you think to yourself, wow, this person really loves me. This person really cares about me. Because number one, you're believing just their words and you're not seeing their actions. And then when they start to act a certain way or whatever, you don't understand it. You don't understand it because you're believing their words and they're not being upfront with you. They're not following through with their actions, okay? Like, in other words, if somebody really says they love you and everything like that, they're not going to ghost on you. They're not going to disappear for 3 days. Somebody who cares about you keeps in touch with you. You see what I'm trying to say? But I want to talk about healing. Now, when you look, in order to heal, okay, you need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself because you know what? You were going through something at that time that you were with that toxic person. You were putting up with that because you were obviously going through something at the time. You were vulnerable. Maybe you had a lot going on in your life. Maybe you were very lonely and you didn't realize that it was loneliness and you kept going back to this person because you had that fear of being alone. And you figured, well, everybody has flaws. Everybody has flaws. Maybe eventually they'll wake up and see that they're wrong, or maybe they just need some growing up to do. See, this is what a lot of people do. They get in a relationship that's not right or it's toxic and they think like, in time, this person's going to change. In time, this person's going to change. And I'm going to tell you, 99% of the time, it's the same results, okay? Same guy, same result. Same woman, same results. That's why I tell you, when you take back an ex, okay, you have to understand that they're probably going to be very good in the beginning and, revert back to their old ways after a month, 2 months. By 3 months, they're going to start to go back to their old ways. And I've had so many people tell me this. It's so true because somebody's basic character is their basic character, okay? So now when you look back on your past relationships, whatever they were, okay, they didn't work out for a reason. You broke up for a reason. And you have to accept it. And you have to say to yourself, okay, I was in a toxic relationship. It didn't work out. I have to just kind of accept it and move on. And it's very hard because you're still living in that fantasy of what could have been. Or you're sitting there and you're blaming yourself and you're saying to yourself, maybe I did something to cause the breakup. Maybe he was right or maybe she was right. I wasn't, having sex enough or I wasn't doing this enough or I wasn't doing that enough, okay? Never, ever, ever second guess yourself, okay? For whatever reason, you were you and it didn't work out, okay? And the thing is, you cannot let these people, whatever they said to you, lay on your mind. You can't let these people get in your head. Because when you let them get in your head, you are giving them power over you, okay? I saw a really good meme the other day, you guys, and it was so on the money. And it said something to the effect of, always lead with your head and not your emotions. Lead with your mind, not your emotions, okay? Because your emotions will get you into trouble. You got to think with your head and you got to see it for what it is. That's why I tell you, you need to write it down on a piece of paper why your relationship went bad, okay? And instead of looking at all the good on the relationship, look at that bad. Look at the things that bothered you. These are the things that you will never have to deal with again, and be thankful for that. Be thankful that you're not dealing with those toxic things that you were dealing with. Be thankful that you're not dealing with somebody who was judging you, or you felt like when you were in their company, you weren't good enough for them, okay? For whatever it is, you have to be you. And that's part of growing, and that's part of maturing. Because when you come into your own, and you really have grown, and you really have matured, and you really have seen a lot of crap that's out there, you get to a point in your life and you say to yourself, you know what? If you don't like it, there's the door, somebody else will, okay? That's fine. Then you're not for me, because this is who I am, and I'm doing the best I can to be the best version of me, okay? But see, a lot of times we sit there and we blame ourselves, and we say, I can't believe I stayed in that relationship. I can't believe I was treated like that. I can't believe I dealt with the abuse, the emotional abuse. Sometimes people are dealing with physical abuse. I can't believe I dealt with it. You need to forgive yourself and say to yourself, you know what? At that time, I was not woke. I was not woke to what I was dealing with, okay? But now I am. Now I know what it is. Now I know how to spot a toxic person. Now I know that when I see a toxic person, this person is not going to flip the blame on me. This person is not going to gaslight me and give me the bullshit, okay? Because I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to put up with the nonsense anymore. Okay? I am going to totally disengage from that person. That person will not get my time when they try to put me down in any way, shape, or form. All right? That's how you know you have your power. You've got your strength back. Okay? And like I said, the only way that you could build yourself up and heal from prior relationships, I tell people this all the time, you need to educate yourself. You need to look at all the things that you dealt with in that past relationship and see it for what it was, and see that it was not right. And if it was toxic, you have to look back on different kinds of things that you dealt with in that relationship. For instance, if you ask somebody, where they were going that night, or where were you last night, and they totally evade the question, or they're not transparent, or they gaslight you, or they flip it on you and they say, oh, we're going through this again. Oh, you're insecure. And they're trying to flip it on you and make you feel insecure. Don't ever let anybody do that to you. Don't ever let anybody do that to you. If you are asking a regular question and they can't answer it, you hold them to it, okay? You hold them to it. You don't sit there and second guess yourself. That's the worst thing you can do, you guys, is to ever second guess yourself. And the point I'm bringing all this up is, if you've survived a toxic relationship and you're starting to realize all that you took in that past relationship, now it's time to not make the same mistake. Now it's time that when you meet new people, you recognize toxic people and you recognize good people. All right? This is a big, big thing that a lot of people don't even realize. They go out in this dating world and they look and they say, they look at the physical aspect of somebody. They look at the personality of somebody. They look at, what kind of job or career they have. They may look a little deeper at their family situation, right? But they don't really look at that person's character. Are you dealing with a toxic person? Is this person rude? Is this person nasty? Is this person selfish? I'm telling you guys, that's going to be a make or break as to whether you're going to be in a happy relationship with somebody. So, you gotta test these people to see, where they stand on things. That's why I told you, when you go out on a date with somebody, see how they relate to other people that are around. See if they're rude to the waiter. See if they're rude to other people that are in the setting that you're in a restaurant, or if they're kind, that, because how they treat other people will be how they treat you eventually. So these are all things that you need to look out for. But when you want to heal from your past relationships, how to heal from those past relationships, right? You got to forgive yourself, and then you got to let it go, okay? You got to let it go. And why are you letting it go? You're letting it go for yourself. Because you know what? When you keep that person in your mind, you are making them important, and you're sucking the life out of yourself. All right? When you're sitting there and you're driving around and you're thinking about this person and everything like that, you're sucking the life out of yourself. That could be your mind on other things going on that could be productive. When you do things for yourself that improve your life, that is how you heal yourself, okay? That's why they always say self-care is how you take your power back, by taking care of yourself. You do it for yourself. This is how you love yourself. You take care of yourself, how you eat, being healthy, taking walks during the day, or exercising, reading to exercise your mind, listening to podcasts to educate yourself, keeping yourself around friends, and interacting with other people and other things in your life to keep yourself going. The worst thing you can do if you want to heal from toxic relationships is to be alone and to not keep busy, okay? Like they say, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. It's like depression. It's what a lot of people are going through with this COVID situation that are quarantined. They're inbound, they're not outdoors, they're not getting enough activity or socialization with other people. I just heard, on the news that they want to open the New York City schools to 5 days a week. Why? Because they're concerned about the mental health of the children. Because these children, a lot of them are isolated and haven't had the interaction. And it's the same thing with relationships. When you heal from a toxic relationship, you want to keep yourself active and busy with other things. Now, if you don't have other relationships in your life, which could be friends and family, then you get into your work. Then you focus in on your work, or you focus into other self-healing things like meditation, yoga, a project, clean your house. Anything like that is going to make you feel better. It's going to make you feel better, you guys. Now, the other part of being able to heal after a toxic relationship is this. A lot of people struggle, and after they break up, they're wondering, will their ex ever realize that they made a mistake? Will their ex ever realize they were wrong? Okay? Like I had a friend of mine who went through a divorce. The divorce was 10 years ago. She's a very smart girl. She's an attorney. And she's remarried. And she comes to me and she says to me, will he ever realize, okay, what he did or anything like that? And I said to her, you have to let it go. You have to let it go. And I said, no, he will never realize what he did. He will never realize what he did. And you have to accept that. You have to accept that. Toxic people will never acknowledge that they are wrong. Narcissistic people will never tell you that they are wrong. They will not take accountability. And you have to just say, you know what? The problem isn't me. The problem is you. But you know what? You can live in your own little toxic world, and I feel sorry for whoever gets involved with you that has to deal with you. They'll find out down the road. But as far as them being remorseful or feeling that, they did something wrong or regretting breaking up, forget it. Forget it, okay? Forget it. Don't expect these type of people to ever acknowledge that they were wrong or to come back to you and be like, I made a mistake. You got to let it go. You got to let them go, okay? And you got to say to yourself, thank God I'm not dealing with that anymore. Good riddance, okay? Good riddance to you. Because now I know what you are. I didn't know what you were in the past, but now I know what you are. And now I know that I don't have to deal with you anymore, okay? Because I am not going to allow myself to be treated beneath the way that I should be treated. See, this is how you got to be, you guys. You got to come into your own and have your own strength and have your own power and build yourself up so that you won't take crap from any of these toxic people that come into your life and try to judge you or put you down, all right? Or take away your self-worth. You don't need their validation. You validate yourself. You validate yourself. That is the power of somebody who is indestructible, is somebody who does not need validation from anybody else, okay? And the only way you get that is by educating yourself, educating yourself to the world, educating yourself in your life, making yourself financially free, and just getting your act together and feel better about yourself. The more you get your act together, the more you're going to feel better about yourself. And the more you're going to regain that power back. Okay? This is what I'm saying. And you got to keep this in mind, you guys, when you're dealing with these kinds of people, because you don't want to make the same mistake. You have to be patient. Don't just go into a relationship just because somebody's love bombing you or being nice. Because you can end up in a bad situation down the road. You got to look for these red flags of these type of toxic people. You want to ask these people about their prior relationships. Why did they break up? And remember what I told you, a lot of them lie. A lot of them are going to blame their partner. A lot of narcissists that you may end up coming in contact with, meeting or dating, when you ask them about their prior relationships, they're going to put all the blame on their ex. If you meet somebody and you ask them what happened in their prior relationship, and that person goes off about their ex, that could be a red flag that you are dealing with somebody that could be a narcissist. Not necessarily, but could be. If they're totally blaming their ex for everything that went wrong in the relationship. I mean, their ex could have been terrible, all right? But until you really know that person deeper, you got to wait and see. I had a girlfriend of mine. She was dealing with this guy, and he told her his ex-wife was a drunk and everything else like that. And she came to me and she's like, oh yeah, he had a rough marriage. His ex-wife was a drunk and he put up with all this. And the first thing I told her, because she had just started dating him, is I said to her, how do you know his ex-wife was a drunk? How do you know that? Because he told you that? So you're going to believe everything on the surface that he tells you without really knowing this guy? I said, you're going to have to take your time and dive in a little deeper to see if this guy is really telling you the whole truth. And it's the same thing in dating when you start to date somebody. Don't be gullible. Don't believe everything they tell you, because there's a lot of storytellers out there. There's a lot of actors out there, both male and female, okay, that are going to paint a certain picture. So, that's why you got to have these conversations on the phone, you guys. And you got to dive in deeper to see really where this person's head's at to know what you're dealing with, okay? So getting back to healing. As far as healing goes, you have to give yourself time and not expect that, you're going to be over this person right away. give yourself that time. But in the interim of giving yourself that time, you got to keep busy. That's key, you guys. That's key. And you got to talk to a lot of people. Even if these people you're not into, you may not really be into them, give them a chance. All right? Give them a chance, because you know what they're doing? They could end up being a good friend of yours. You can make a lot of friends. Not everybody that you talk to has to be your romantic partner the rest of your life. I know people that dated and it wasn't a match romantically, but they became really good friends. So, that's a good way, and it could be a support system for you as well. Join the support groups. There's plenty of support groups on Facebook and other areas online too. There's always support groups to join. I highly recommend that, because the more support you have, the less vulnerable and weak you will be, and the less you'll be thinking about that person. And the more time that goes on, the more you're going to see that person for the toxic person they were. And the more you're going to say to yourself, I didn't even see this person for who they were. Thank God I'm not in that anymore. And I need to make sure that if I see those kinds of signs again, to take the high road and get out of there, okay? So I hope that helps you. If it did, please hit the subscribe button and share, and have a great night. Audible is offering listeners a 30-day trial. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free 30-day trial. You get to select any book that you want on there and listen to it. They have books on there about breadcrumbing, love bombing, why did they lose interest, dating, relationship, any kind of book you're interested in and want to learn about, okay? You could listen to it in your car, or if you're on the bus or the train. So go to my podcast description for the link at tinyurl.com/AskYazNow and start your free trial. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz. I want to tell you about my 2 books that are on Amazon, okay? You can download them free with the trial membership from Kindle. The first book is Regain Your Power. If you're in a relationship and you feel like your partner has all the control in the relationship, maybe you're walking around on eggshells, you're afraid to approach them, it's going to tell you how to regain your power and be happy in the relationship, okay? And what you may be doing wrong, and that's why your partner has all the control in the relationship. The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time. There's a lot of people that are dating someone or in a relationship with somebody who's not really vested in the relationship. And we often are confused as to whether our partner really likes us or is into us or wants a future with us. And this book is going to give you signs and red flags of whether your partner is into you or he's just basically drifting and wasting your time. So go to Amazon and download the Kindle free trial membership. Doesn't cost you anything. And check it out. It may help you. Okay? And have a great day.